Ladies and gentlemen, back at you with much more in the headlines. We have
Big Banks.
And I am Stroobs, kicking off spring with a bang. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I was out of touch, but it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
And if you've been following the Big Banks and Stroobs show over the course of the last few months, a couple months since the beginning, the Juicy Smollett case was, probably did about 3 episodes on that. Mm-hmm. You thought it was done. You thought it was over.
But I'm not done yet.
It's not over, folks. It's not over. Juicy Smollett comes back into our headlines. We've got to talk about this once more. The other day, just this less than 48 hours ago, the Cook County state's attorney, a woman by the name of Kim Fox, decided, I guess unilaterally or
just let him go.
Seems pretty arbitrary, drop all charges against Smollett. Apparently evidence was so strong and so unanimous, leading to a potential conviction and leading to some pretty substantial charges for Smollett. But apparently, Kim Fox was approached by a former Michelle Obama aide by the name of Tina Chen. Little communication took place. Who knows what else happened, but this doesn't look good. Has all of the trademarks of an ugly ethical lapse, ethical dilemma. Someone playing some dirty games here.
Well, I got to say thanks to the reporters and the Freedom of Information Act. That's how they got the email.
Knew it right away. Actually, it didn't take very long for that to be unearthed. And
don't do things on your government issue equipment, phones, computers, anything.
Correct,
if you're going to try to do some underhanded stuff.
Go and use one of those Google burn numbers where there's no way to trace it.
Or just go to an internet cafe and just knock it out.
But not telling you folks out there to commit crimes or things like that. But this doesn't look good. Here is what former Barack Obama cabinet member Rahm Emanuel and current Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel had to say about this. He is not taking this line down. He finds something very very ugly and very here's what Emanuel had to say.
On financial costs, this $10,000 doesn't even come close to what the city spent in resources to actually look over the camera, gather all the data, gather all the information that actually brought the indictment by the grand jury on many, multiple different charges. Second is what I would call the ethical costs. And the ethical cost is you have, as a person who was in the House of Representatives when we tried to pass the Shepard legislation that dealt with hate crimes, putting them on the books, that President Obama then signed into law, to then use those very laws and the principles and values behind the Matthew Shepard hate crimes legislation to self-promote your career is a cost that comes to all the individuals, gay men and women, who will come forward and one day say they were a victim of a hate crime who now will be doubted. People of faith, Muslim or any other religious faith, who will be a victim of hate crimes. People that of all walks of life and backgrounds, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation. Now this casts a shadow of whether they're telling the truth, and he did this all in the name of self-promotion. And he used the laws of the hate crime legislation that all of us collectively over years have put on the books to stand up to be the values that embody what we believe in. This is a whitewash of justice.
So you got to respect him for transcending politics, party politics at least in this case. Chicago is a city known historically for its
dirty politics,
boss politics. It's ugly, corrupt sort of happenings and goings on with local politics there, from the Daley family to the party bosses and the machines in Chicago. Not a city where you're getting a lot of a lot of stuff happening below the surface in Chicago politics, and this certainly seems like it. For what it's worth, Smollett's actually he's not apologetic. He apparently has done no wrong. Here is what Smollett had to say in his most recent presser.
First of all, I want to thank my family, my friends, the incredible people of Chicago and all over the country and the world who have prayed for me, who have supported me, who've shown me so much love. No one will ever know how much that has meant to me, and I will forever be grateful. I want you to know that not for a moment was it in vain. I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of. This has been an incredibly difficult time, honestly one of the worst of my entire life. But I am a man of faith, and I'm a man that has knowledge of my history, and I would not bring my family, our lives, or the movement through a fire like this. I just wouldn't. So I want to thank my legal counsel from the bottom of my heart, and I would also like to thank the state of Illinois for attempting to do what's right. Now I'd like nothing more than to just get back to work and move on with my life. But make no mistakes, I will always continue to fight for the justice, equality, and betterment of marginalized people everywhere. So again, thank you for all the support, thank you for faith, and thank you to God. Bless y'all, thank you very much.
So what do you say, Big Banks? Smollett, he's pretty bold to still go out there with all we have against him. The due diligence was done on the part of law enforcement. Initially, they gave him the benefit of the doubt. They, time passed. The puzzle was pieced together, and Smollett looked like quite the guilty party.
Oh, he was going to jail.
Yeah. Why this sudden turn of event? Is it ugly, corrupt Chicago politics that's taking place, or is there something else we're not aware of?
First, I got to say, he's riding his wave of victimhood very, very well. So he should be a great surfer the way he's riding his wave. And secondly, it sucks to say you got to have friends in high places. He had one, and he pulled that card. And it's also a slap in the face to the black community who cannot get these benefits. All he had to do is forfeit his bond and do 16 hours of community service. And he did his 16 hours of community service. Just take a guess.
Have no clue.
The Rainbow Push Coalition.
Oh, Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson. He did it with Jesse Jackson.
Doesn't seem exactly like that's really giving back to the community writ large, right?
Not the community that's underserved, and it's
Correct.
the black population. So I hope they extend the same benefit to R. Kelly. Let him forfeit his bond and just wash it away.
It's going to be ugly. Well, late breaking on this Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, we do have some new developments. Apparently, federal entities, the federal bureaucracy wants to get involved. Apparently, the FBI is now investigating using the issue of mail and wire fraud as the possible impetus to kind of to maybe still levy charges, at least on a federal level, against Smollett for his perpetrating this faux hate crime.
But we can't forget our lovely president. He sent out some nice emails and tweets today about this whole situation.
Usually we would recommend that a president stay clear of these kind of local issues. But here is what President Trump had to say about the Smollett case just today.
So I got to say, I take my hat off to Trump because he's looking at the hypocrisy or whatever you want to use. Because
there are larger implications, certainly. When you look at hate crimes and when you look at what this did, not just Chicago law enforcement spending its own money, but the actual kind of implications of such an ugly, heinous hate crime taking place, when in fact there was actually, it seemed ridiculous and it seemed absurd from the get-go. But
look at the bigger issue, though. I get that, but I'm going to trump it by saying this. With Trump, he was charged for crimes that he did not commit. They wanted to send him to jail. With Jesse Smollett.
Talking about the collusion and the Mueller report, whole different story, which we'll talk about on a different video, but you're right, exactly.
But with Jesse Smollett, he actually did it, and there's evidence, but yet he gets a pass.
Still, void of a trial. I don't know what we can really show or what we can really prove, but we do see now a recanting and a going back. The media still trying to play their hand as they always do. Still going back to the what if what
It
if
is.
scenarios
Yeah.
now, and now their take
No.
now their take again is we don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you guys were jumping on the bandwagon initially, regardless of how absurd the Smollett claim was, and now you guys, after a few weeks pass, and now the charges are dropped. Now
Well-
you guys are back to saying you don't know. The
Well-
facts, the evidence is all there. Smollett looks pretty.
But look at the timeline of this, which I think is funny. When it first appeared, you say he was assaulted by some MAGA white
MAGA
dude.
wearing white guys
They
on a
was just-
polar vortex,
Yeah,
2 a.m.
yeah.
on a Chicago morning in the middle of winter.
They was all on his bandwagon. But when it comes to find out he probably fabricated this hate crime,
They were reluctant to- yeah,
they
they
was wagging a finger at Jesse.
Right.
But now, since he's been vindicated to some degree, now they're back. Well, maybe he was a victim.
Yeah.
You know, it just it gets on my nerves.
Clearly, the guy is not a victim. We're going to follow the story. It doesn't seem like we thought we were done with our last Smollett video, but the juicy
Jesse
details,
went- yeah.
the juicy story of the week, still seems to perpetuate itself and write it.
It's writing itself.
It's writing itself, absolutely. So we don't think that's going to be the
I'm
last.
just waiting on the Lifetime movie to come out.
Oh my God! Well, you know what? Maybe it looks like the guy's going to get his rollback potentially on Empire. There was a tweet that was sent out recently, and it looks like the producers of that show are now willing to entertain his return, as horrible as that might
Yeah,
be.
you gotta have friends in high places.
There you go. Celebrity privilege right there.
Yeah.
Not white privilege, not black privilege, not gay privilege, but certainly it seems
Celebrity
privilege and rich wealth privilege is afoot in the Smollett case. So we'll continue to follow that, folks. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Does that make me crazy?